Good morning, Devils fans. I was trying to delay this video a little bit, hoping to get a bit of practice news coming out with some health updates, specifically about Timo and Nico. But unfortunately, as of the time of this recording, that hasn't happened yet. So, still just going based off of vibes and previous discussions around that. My assumption is that we will have Timo back for this next game, likely to be a full participant in practice. Nico, on the other hand, is a bit more up in the air. I know, or at least I believe I know, that he has been skating on his own a bit, and it continues to be day by day just based on how he's feeling. We knew he wasn't going to do any of those road games, and it was basically always confirmed he wasn't going to be back in time for that Rangers game. I think really hoping for this nice few days off for the team, at least off from games, that is, to allow him to recover, get some practices in, and make sure that he is fully ready to go. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Hopefully a bit of news on that tomorrow. So instead, I don't have too much to talk about here in this video. More so just going to be kind of a palette reset, stock of where we are as a team as of this moment, and just kind of talk about the vibes and where I think we're at and where everything is heading. So as of this time, we are, as I'm sure we all know, out of a playoff position. We have one game before Thanksgiving for that arbitrary made up in playoffs by Thanksgiving or not, 77% of the time you make playoffs. So, if my math is correct, if we win this next game, and then if a couple of the wild card teams lose their next game or two, as I'm not sure exactly how many they are playing before Thanksgiving, we would be by points percentage in a second wild card spot. If we lose, obviously, we are out, or if some of those other teams get some wins in, they would be ahead of us, presumably. So, very likely, come Thanksgiving, we are going to be out of a playoff spot. 23% of the time, those teams still end up making it in. Now, teams like Columbus, yeah, probably you can already start assuming they're going to sell off and they are very much out of it. We all know the crazy run St. Louis went on, last place come New Year, and then still ended up going on to win the Stanley Cup. So none of these things are set in stone. That's what makes sports so great. We're like a point or two out of a playoff spot. Point percentage, it's even closer than that. So we really don't have much to be worried about. The Metro, other than the Rangers kind of running away with it a bit, the Metro is insanely packed. It's basically the Rangers at the top, Columbus at the bottom, and then everybody else within a few points, if you take games at hand into consideration of each other. Washington, I think, is playing well above where they probably should be. I expect them to come back down to earth a little bit, but if Lindgren keeps playing like he has been, I could see them definitely fighting and keeping a playoff position. The Penguins seem like they are going to be a surefire team making it in as well. Islanders and Flyers, I do not see sustaining over the full season. Islanders skaters are just not going to keep it up to snuff. And the Flyers, while they are playing with a lot of oomph and heart, playing with Carter Hart, I just don't see them sustaining that type of success over a full 82 game season. Again, we're not even a quarter of the way into the season yet. We are finally getting healthy. Jack being back, he put up 2 points. We saw just the complete difference that it is having Jack Hughes on the ice versus not having him on the ice. We're over 500 still. And that was with a good stretch of games missing our most important player, missing our two most important players, and then missing our three of our highest paid forwards. I believe Brett is there as well. So 3 or 4 of our highest paid forwards, 3 of our top 5 paid players. Most teams cannot, let alone remain over 500 doing that. Most teams struggle to win a single game when that happens. So that goes to talk about, the bit of depth that we do have. Now, when you're missing 3 of those most important guys slide up out of the bottom 6 to the top 6, which makes your bottom 6 basically, ugh. And that's kind of what we've been dealing with. I know the goaltending continues to be an issue. I am not going to gloss over that. We need Schmidt or Vitek to make the big saves for us. So far, I keep harping on it. We haven't had one of those big goalie games that kind of win us one we didn't deserve to win. Instead, it's more so our skaters needing to score more goals than we're giving up to just kind of get the W in games that we're playing better in, but we're not skating away with, nor are we being skated into the ground. Jack coming back obviously helps there. Nico and Timo coming back will absolutely help, because the only time we really had all 3 of them healthy was earlier on in the season when Nico and Timo were not firing on all cylinders. Timo, before he was out, was point per game in his last 11 or 12 in a row. Nico was just starting to ramp up basically in the game before, and then the game he was taken out in. If they can come back and play at the level we know they can play at, I just don't see there being much concern. Now, I will say this is not playoff caliber goaltending we're having. We would need to basically have an Avalanche style domination on the ice where we just outscore and outchance to such an extreme degree that even if we give up a few weak goals because the goaltending is not quite up to snuff, we are controlling play to such an extent and scoring at such a high level that it just does not matter. We have the talent to do that, but obviously, if you can get an elite goaltender so they can make those big saves when it really matters, that also helps an absolute ton. Um, I think the defense is going to really come into its own with Miller being healthy and back. We probably will see Smith and Ball bounce between healthy scratch and starting. That will be my assumption. Smith just really does do such a great job on the PK for us that they probably feel like they have to bite the bullet with his 5-on-5 play. And Ball, although he had an insanely good preseason, has not been quite to that same level so far in the regular season. He has had some really good plays. He's had some lows as well. So I can see them kind of doing what they did last year, where he kind of bounces back and forth as we continue to hope that he tries to find his game and ramping up in the playoffs, where I thought he played pretty well given all circumstances. So I'm not really worried about the defense. Now, the team's defensive structure as a whole, in those recent stretches, sure, you could definitely argue that. But I think, again, when you are fully healthy, everyone is slotting in where they need to be. And it's players that are more familiar with the system rather than, what is that? Basically an entire, if not more than half of our bottom six being mostly new to the system. That's where those defensive lapses really come in. And when you have guys that are much more familiar, getting all that ice time, and know what's going on, those really should not happen as much as they have been. And yeah, that's really the bulk of it. I'm really not too worried. We have actually, this most recent stretch was, I talked about the Rangers, one of the hottest teams. Penguins were one of the hottest teams. Winnipeg, one of the best teams out in the West right now, at least as far as on ice play goes. We had a really big stretch here. We were playing a lot of really good teams that were playing really well. Now we should be going up against some teams that have not been playing as well. So Columbus, we got the Sharks in there, we got the Flyers in there. This is a really big stretch where we really do need to probably come out with more wins. Well, not probably. We need to come out with more wins than losses. Otherwise, vibes are really going to be feeling down. So we'll see exactly how it ends up playing out, but I'm optimistic as always around it. I think it should be a good stretch for us. I'm not expecting to go undefeated. It's in the cards, but I wouldn't expect that. We'll probably have a stinker of a defensive and goaltending game. It's going to keep happening until we're fully healthy. And possibly, I know we are in on the Zadorov out of Calgary. Maybe we pull something crazy and grab him and Markstrom in a big blockbuster deal. But yeah, I mean, Markstrom VTech would be a nice tandem. Kira can go back down, get a bit more ice time, get his confidence back up. But we'll see. Speaking of going down, real quick comment here. Nemec has been absolutely crushing it in Utica. I don't expect him to come up unless it's like we really want an offensive oomph in a playoff run type thing. Otherwise, I just expecting we're going to let him cook, and he is going to be the big injection next year on the defensive end. So that's probably it for this episode. I didn't really want to deep dive anything too much because I don't know what the news coming out today will look like. I still have a video I can do tomorrow with nothing and the next day. So yeah, I just really want to let you guys know. Don't need to doom or worry too much. Probably if you are a continuous watcher of this channel, you're not someone that does that really. So be excited. We have a lot of good games coming up here. Getting healthy is obviously the biggest thing. I really think that is going to be the game changer for us. And it's really just about outproducing and outchancing our goaltending until hopefully VTech kind of bounces back to the level we saw him at last year. And if not, I'm just not a big trade deadline goalie acquisition guy because I just think it's not enough time to really get acclimated, the goalie to the team and the team to the goalie. So we'll see what Fitz ends up doing. But if we don't make a goalie move this year, absolutely expect one this offseason. I just don't see any way we don't. So that's going to do it on this one, guys. Start of the work week. See how it goes. Obviously, back in the Devil's Den area. So let me know what the lighting and sound quality is here. It looks a little dark on my screen, I think, so I might need to try and find a way to brighten it up a bit, but let me know. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning, as always, and forever. Let's go, Devils.